Hey, Dis Dungeon. Joe Dove here, excited to talk about growth. And when I talk about growth, I'm talking about some light being shed in the dark depths of the Dis Dungeon. Yes, that's right, my friends. Instead of dove dives, I'm giving you an experience with my new co host, Bill. And we're going to be shedding light on a TV series. We're going to expand the music love into television love when we give you weekly reviews of the CBS show Ghosts. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to my new co host for this show, Bill, as we shed light on ghosts in the dark depths of the Dis Dungeon.
Hey, Joe, I am excited to do this podcast. I really appreciate how involved you are with the show. I I recently retired, so I was looking for things to fill up my days, and stumbled upon you on a video. So I've been obsessed with ghosts since it began. So I cannot wait to continually show my love for the show and be able to talk about it with someone else who shares the same addiction.
Yes, yes. Perfect world. Music,
Yeah.
TV, and addiction. We're all here
Yeah.
together and we're all here for it.
Need a
Be sure to
support
join
system.
us. Yeah, be sure to join us every week while the show is on. And we're talking CBS Ghosts, and we'll probably be expanding into other things later on. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And thank you for downloading this amazing episode of the new Dis Dungeon Growth Shedding Light. Hey, we're back, friends. We're shedding light on ghosts, and we're having a great time with our new co-host, William Morgan. Bill, how are you, my good friend?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I'm great. We're just having a blast talking about ghosts. I watched this for the second time today, so I'd be refreshed in all the amazing things that are going on in the show Ghosts. This episode was a lot of fun, but it was very heartwarming. And the behind the scenes clip that you sent me was just incredible.
No,
I know,
good.
but we'll get into that in the thick of it. Right now,
Yeah.
let's talk about the first glance. All right, so this one's a fun one. It's the Bachelorette party, and Alberta questions her descendant's fiance during a Bachelorette party at Woodstone Mansion, while Jay celebrates a good review of his restaurant. That's basically the synopsis. What was your first glance on this episode?
I was excited when I saw that it was Alberta's descendant.
Yeah.
In the episode. I really like that actress and I like that character because that's one of my favorite episodes, the Alberta's descendant one.
Mhm.
So I was excited right off the bat. I didn't even know Chris was going to be in it.
Oh wow. Yeah, we'll get into that on the wrap. But yeah, the actress name is Alicia D. Kelly. She plays Alicia Walker, Alberta's great niece. So that's how far back that goes. That's the descendant. And it's not like I have this written down. I have it on the IMDb's up. I like to produce properly. So we're gonna talk about a lot of the stuff that's going on in this episode. So good. There was singing. There was a special guest. Did you recognize the special guest?
I did not.
No,
That's what we're talking about.
The host, the restaurant reviewer, food critic.
He looks familiar.
Is the actor from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh.
And he was also in, I think, Superbad. That's the name of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that in ages.
Yeah. But I'm one of those things. Like, oh, that guy. I'm always going, I know that guy.
He looked familiar.
Yeah.
I couldn't place him.
Yeah, he's really funny. He's had a storied career. His name is actually Joe, which is great. Joe Truglio. So
I like how the episode had a lot of twists and turns a little bit.
Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah, fun episode. So I mean, basically, the whole premise is a misunderstanding because one of the bachelorettes on the Bachelorette party was talking with the fiance. It's like, oh, you want to get in that sugar daddy and I love Flower just popping him. Hey, Saps, just so you know, sugar daddy means they're gonna have sex. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah. I think she was doing that on purpose. I don't think that was the drug stuff. I think she was having fun because if you look at some of her side eyes, she was just doing that to, riz him a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. Because she kept doing it too, and he's like, "All right, enough."
Yeah, when she said the virgin part, and Trevor's reaction just cracked me up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Trevor was on
yeah.
point this episode too.
He's got a lot of good reactions, I think.
Yeah, his face is great.
Yes,
He very emotive. It's awesome.
yes. He teaches acting
Oh
at a
wow.
college.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. That's a great.
Mhm.
See all the deep dives you're getting here, and the Shedding Light episode, a
Obsessed.
subsidiary. Huh?
I'm obsessed.
Yeah, apparently that's great. I've become as
Yeah,
such. So we're getting
yeah,
all this wonderful information here on this podcast.
yeah.
So,
I've only watched that new episode 4 times.
oh wow, yeah, you got me beat. Um, if you are listening to us on the podcast version, we would appreciate it if you could give us a rating. We are now a subsidiary of the Dis Dungeon on the podcast verse. So if you're listening on Spotify or Apple iTunes, please be sure to give us a rating and a review. We really appreciate it. It helps the channel grow. It helps this podcast grow further, and we appreciate every moment. So back to the episode. The food critic getting paid off by Trevor was hilarious. The B plot. It is time to get into the thick of it. So the A plot is pretty much an easy setup, but that B plot was a little bit more twisty turny because
Mhm.
yeah, I wasn't expecting it to basically play out the way it did, but Jay
Yeah,
in the beginning of the episode was really going in on the carrot. He was like so
yeah,
excited because Pete could leave
yeah.
the Woodstone and then take a listen to what the reviewer is setting up for
Mhm.
the review of their restaurant. So how did you feel about that whole B plot?
I thought it was good.
Mhm.
It was a surprise, and um, it kind of. I like how it did intersect with the A story.
Mhm.
Because sometimes the A and B do not even really intersect,
Right.
but I like the ones that are separate and they do the intersecting, and that was good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. um, one of the things that I really liked in this episode was we got to see the cooking staff. They all came back.
Mm.
They've overcome their cholera and everything's working well.
Yeah.
And we got Cobra back for a little bit. And Cobra is played by an actor named Joshua Peace.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you're familiar with him,
Mm-mm.
but I knew him from Red and that movie Devil,
Oh,
where the
Red was good.
elevator.
Yes, I saw
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
he's a good that he's getting his just desserts and coming up in the world. Yeah, Walter, the fiance, has
Mhm.
that back to the A plot. He has that
Mhm.
one off of one of the Bachelorettes, and of course the ghost crew is freaking out, and they of course tell Roberta, and Roberta's trying to set it up. So the funny thing
Classic.
is having Sopsies go into her juice. I thought it was just going to be like a Jay Sam thing, but he can go
Mhm.
anywhere.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. How about that song that he was playing? She's cheating on you.
It was hilarious.
It was so good.
And Alberta critiquing it.
Yeah,
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 that's right. Yeah, she was
yeah.
like, this is your
That
voice
is
is
not a good song,
that is
but
not a good song.
he's a pretty good singer. He in some of the behind the scenes I've watched over the last couple of years, they've shown him singing like in their break room or whatever you call it, where their trailers are.
Mhm.
And Roman is a pretty good singer, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll do a duet at the end of the series.
Ooh, I never thought about that. Yeah,
Yeah. We're gonna
that's
talk about
another. Oh, go ahead.
that follow-up episode that's coming down the pike too. So
Yeah.
lots to talk about in this one.
I usually try to avoid any
Mm.
previews because I want to be completely
Oh
surprised
no, I
on
just
it.
know the title. I
Yeah.
didn't watch any
Yeah.
previews.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I like the set that they used. First, I thought it was just a half set, but it was a pretty full set when I saw the behind the scenes.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, so the big A plot wrap up in this one
Mhm.
was Roberta actually got to use her ghost power, and that seems to be
Mhm.
the theme of this season. Like everybody's using their ghost power to the
Yeah,
extent they help or hurt in some cases,
yeah.
depending on the situation.
And ragging on Alberta where hers is not a good ghost power. So this was kind of a redemption of that and saying,
Yeah,
F
exactly.
you, my
Yeah,
power
yeah,
is good.
yeah. And I love her. Oversee, I saved the days. Forget all y'all. I did it on my own.
Yeah, she just cannot resist being the with that
Diva.
ego coming back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I love the behind the scenes stuff that you sent me. The
Mhm.
her teaming up with her great niece and
Yeah.
singing in that episode was just fantastic.
Yeah, it was very I mean, it was very touching, and I like how Alicia just accepted it for the most part, and then just went with it. And that song was perfect choice. Ain't
Hmm.
misbehaving.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's not the first time Misbehaving is used as a song. I don't know if you watch Righteous Gemstones,
No, I've
but
never
there's a
heard of that.
country music. The two kids, they call him Uncle Baby Billy because he was the kid's uncle. The kids are grown up, but he's like
Okay.
this old man. And it's played by Walton Goggins,
Mhm.
and their song is Misbehaving. So I was like, oh wow, that's kind
Oh,
of a weird, connection between the two shows that probably inadvertent, but very, very good. It's a very different song. It's about them
mhm.
kids misbehaving, and then this one's about relationships. But I also found it interesting that she had this relationship, back to that word, with the individual that she was supposedly in love with. And at first she was like, yeah, he left me, he went on the road, da, 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 but it was her.
Yeah, that surprised me. And that just goes with how well they write these shows where they have these twists. And I'm like, oh, wow, it was her. And the set that they had are the cars. Oh, I thought they were awesome
Yeah, those
for the
look,
20s or
yeah, that was a
yeah,
really spot on. There's
yeah.
a place here in New Jersey where I live where they have all those old cars stored. It's a mechanic shop where they take the old cars, and then when it's needed, they actually rent them out so you can use them for set pieces.
Oh,
So, yeah.
that is so cool. Because I
Yeah.
know in Los Angeles, I was watching it behind the scenes on some other show, and they did a tour of where there's like this huge warehouse that a lot of the studios and
Mhm.
production people go to borrow stuff for their productions. So it'd be pretty cool to go in one of those
I
things.
know. I know.
Yeah.
I would love to spend the day
Yeah.
just getting in those old cars because I
Yeah.
miss the bench seats in some of those big old cars.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
fun back in the day. I remember
Yeah.
sliding around. But
Yeah. No
yeah,
seatbelts.
yeah, the invention of seatbelts changed a lot.
Yeah.
That's why they had to change it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there was just so many fun things. And then,
Yeah.
we had that cute little setup that Sam was just inadvertent pushing herself and getting involved in the bachelorette party.
Yeah. She is so desperate to be liked. And
Yeah.
I think that's because she didn't have a lot of friends, I don't think, in school.
Mhm.
And it's sad, but they do it in a cute way.
Right.
I think that's why she is so involved with the ghost and
Mhm.
sometimes puts them ahead of Jay, because she is
Oh,
desperate to have a friend group, I think,
yeah,
and
that's a
just
great
be a part of
observation.
something. And sometimes the ghost takes advantage of that. But
Yeah.
oh, the other thing I wanted to say was I enjoyed Hetty's horrible attempts to comfort.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
just not good at that.
No, she's not. She's not. Well, she's
Yeah.
a baroness, so
Yes. Yes.
they're not
Yeah.
set for cozy
Yes.
comforts.
No, no, she no.
No.
And I like the double entendres they have on the
Oh, yeah.
show that I think usually will go over the kids' head, like Trevor's taint is all
Yeah.
over it. I just
Yeah, yeah,
busted
yeah.
out laughing. It's like the first time I heard the suck off thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did they just say that?
Yeah. Oh, I don't wanna get sucked off. It's like,
Yeah.
why does she get to get sucked off? It's like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
wait, what?"
Yeah. And in the episode where we find out why Trevor doesn't have any pants, and
Mm,
right before the commercial break, Alberta says, "Are you sure that he didn't put hot sauce in the guy's pants to burn his wiener?" And
mm.
I said, "Did she just say wiener on TV?"
Yeah, lots changed. Getting
Yeah.
away with a lot more nowadays.
Yeah.
It's really
So
funny.
many of those.
So
Such a
many.
great show. Um,
Well, I like that,
mhm.
the ghosts later find out that Walter, the fiancé, is actually the brother of one of the bachelorettes, and they were watching a TV show together,
Ooh,
and they hadn't been watching it
yes.
with, Alicia, so that's what the
Night
big secret
Sugar.
was. Yeah, Night Sugar, that's what it was. That
Yeah.
means having sex, so
Yeah.
and I love how Hetty ended up becoming a fan of that show. "Oh, Night
Oh
Sugar's so
yeah.
good." Like, it's
Yeah.
everything just
Yes.
kinda, like, played it's very well woven, this episode, and
Yeah.
kinda everything
Her
just plays
sexual
in.
awakening continues because she was
Yes.
so repressed.
Yeah.
Like, one of my favorites is when she was doing that, sitting on the washer and having
Right.
the eye acting, as they called it. She
Yeah.
did a great job on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, so once we find out that, that, it turned out that they were related. They had to figure out how to
Yeah.
fix it, and
Yeah.
then
Classic mistaken, not identity, maybe that's or in
no,
most
it's not.
sitcoms,
It's
but there's the
misunderstanding.
twist. Yeah,
Yeah,
misunderstanding. Yeah,
yeah,
and of course, Ghost has the twist that traditional sitcoms don't really have.
yeah. Because they're most of the cast is dead.
Yes. Oh,
uh,
when she
mhm,
was talking to Chris, the stripper who was going to dance at Alicia's party,
mhm.
I I liked how it's bad luck to see the stripper before the thing, and then Pete
Right.
was like, "Yeah, Carol saw it," and then uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a nice little
Yeah,
Pete
it
little
was nice to see Chris come back. Like I said on the last podcast I did with you, I like how they have that ghost verse where they keep
Mhm.
having the same actors and the same characters come back from time to time. I like that instead of just being just the house or the main cast, but you have all of these other characters that come and go that are the
Yeah,
same, and that for me that makes it a bigger show than what it is.
yeah. Even though it's confined to one house overall, it
Hmm.
seems like
Doesn't feel
there's a
like
lot
it.
going on in a lot of
Yeah,
different places.
that's good writing.
Yeah. Yeah, it comes back to
What
that.
what do you think of Jay's restaurant? The outside of it. When they show the
It
outside, it
looks
just looks like the
it looks like
dilapidated.
trash. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, are they at least gonna paint it?
Yeah, I mean, I would have thought they would have painted it before they would
Yeah,
have done anything, but
yeah.
I
Some of the
know but
exterior.
yeah, I mean, for me, I grew up in New York, and I know once you
Mhm.
leave Westchester County, things get a lot different, and I guess the setups
Rural.
are a little bit different. It gets a little bit more
Yeah,
homely,
yeah.
and like run down. So I
Makes
guess that's why
sense.
they did that. So it kind of
Mhm.
like fits the stables of
The other thing on the outside of the house when they show the long shots of the actual house,
the Mhm.
they have a huge lawn. Who the hell is mowing that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And maybe it's Trevor.
Yeah, yeah, with the finger.
His finger, yeah. I mean,
Oh, that's the other joke they had, the finger thing.
oh yeah,
You didn't have to
Trevor
deliver it
fingered
like
him
that.
and everything. Yeah. I was like,
The
oh,
Thor's onion fingers. That's a new
yeah.
one.
And he kept
And then
trying to smell,
I'm
like
going
have
to
Pete
pee.
smell him. Yeah, it's like, no, get out
Smell
of
my
here.
fingers.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
man, so many clever jokes this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sam introverts installs herself into the group and gets
Yeah.
Chris to be the stripper, where we have our
Yeah.
big end moment of the
Yeah. She
episode, which is
selected the It's Raining Men package.
yes, the top package. So
Oh, when he was going over all the payment tiers with the clever names, the sausage
yeah,
package, the fire hose, and it's cracked me up with Hetty because since that sexual awakening has happened with her, the floodgates are
yeah.
open, and she's like, "Yes, please."
Mhm. Oh, that sounds good. Yes, please.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Different from the Hetty and the pilot.
right, yes, it's amazing how the ghost characters are growing, even though they're
Yeah,
partially
that
the same.
that's what makes it good. Then the triple genre kind of, it's the typical genre kind of show where they have something like that. These characters aren't just stereotypes; they
Mhm.
are actual people, and they write such great character moments for these ghosts where they could be just a standard sitcom where oh they say they're funny. There was a sitcom in the 80s starring Ann Gillian called Jennifer Slept Here,
Mm.
and it only lasts like 13 episodes,
Oh.
and she died in this house she was a movie star, and well I love Ann Gillian,
Mhm.
um, but it was a standard sitcom of the 80s where she was a ghost and it was just for laughs. There was no real character moments. It was
Mhm.
just joke, joke, joke kind of thing. So that's what Ghost is way above the standard sitcom, whether they have a heightened part of it or not.
They managed to really do a great job of, setting up and
Mhm.
knocking it out, because
Yes.
they do a lot of setup in each
Mhm.
individual episode, and then they stick to the landing of how it all comes to
Mhm.
a fruition. So
Yeah.
that's one of the main reasons why I love the show so much, because it's just such
Mhm.
it lands on so many levels.
Yes.
And
Like you said, multi-layered, and
right.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't get stale. It's always
I think
something going on.
the one of what I was saying, I think that may be one of the reasons why they don't get any awards love,
Mm,
because they haven't really been nominated for anything
right.
like the Emmys. I know there've been some like Danielle just won what is it, the
NAACP.
award, but
Mhm.
for the Emmys they haven't got any nominations. I think because the Academy could be really snobby about it because they think it's just, standard um, characters that don't have any depth. Because I don't think a lot of the actors watch a lot of other shows because they're busy that are part
That
of the
could be.
academy. I think it just because it makes no sense that they're not being nominated for something. Because
Yeah.
I mean, Rebecca Hetty, she is so good, and how could she not be nominated for an Emmy?
And she was in Star Trek.
I just was going to say that.
Yeah, she played the Destroyer. Like I remember that whole.
Yeah,
But she's
she
actually
is.
been in quite a lot of the other things. Oh, let me pop
Yeah.
that in
She
there.
Devious Maids she was in. I really
Oh,
loved
okay.
that show. It was on Lifetime, I think.
Mm.
And the same guy who created Desperate Housewives created that one,
Oh,
Mark
wow.
Cherry. And he wrote for the Golden Girls. So he knows how to write those kinds of characters.
Yeah.
But she was good in that show, Devious Maids.
Yeah. She was also good in The Mentalist as well as American Horror Story.
Yeah.
So she's good. But I play this game. This is what I was going to bring up. It's all
Okay.
the connections. I play this game called Jedi Survivor, and she's Doma Dendra. She's the voice of a character that you go
Okay.
and get credits and buy things from. She's the
Okay.
I don't know if you've played a lot of video games in your time, but
Back in the 80s, it was the arcade stuff.
oh,
The
okay.
new stuff is just, it's for me, it's like there's so much going on.
Yeah, this game is
I'm
definitely
old, remember?
You only got me by a few years, buddy.
Yeah.
No, like I said, I'm obsessed with this game, but then I can see that because like when I was a kid, I could figure these things out, but this one I had to just like turn the level down to beat it. It's like, oh god, this is impossible. I'll just play on the easy mode.
Yeah.
It's like, and I won. There we go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was in that. I love that game. And she was also in Brooklyn Nine-Nine as I look at it. So it's a lot of overlapping. Probably some creators are intertwined. But
yeah. A side trip. On TikTok, I've been seeing these videos where they're doing some clips of Star Trek interactive games from years ago, and it's just. I'm sure back then they were like awesome, but watching them now, they're like, ugh.
Yeah.
But nostalgic, I guess.
Yeah, nostalgic.
Yeah.
I have somewhere in my condo, I have the box set of 8 3.5 inch discs. So like as you play the game, you got to change the discs because they couldn't get all the memory on one spot.
Oh,
so,
I remember those kinds of things.
Yeah, those choices were made back then. But
I was going to say one thing that popped in my head before it pops out. There's a scene in one of the second season episodes where Hetty and Isaac are in the living room talking, and the group comes in, and Hetty says, what's this? Isaac and I were having a riveting conversation about ties. Or was it ties? Anyhow, at work, when I was talking to a coworker, when someone come and interrupt us, I would say that.
Oh, wow.
Sis, Kim and I were having a riveting conversation about ties or something like that, whatever the last word was.
Yeah.
And they just look at me. People at my job, they thought I was just so clever. They had no idea that I was quoting TV shows and movies.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Look at that. Everything's kind of coming together.
Yeah.
Well, of course, Alberta saves the day for her niece, our great niece,
so good.
Singing, and they end up singing together, and then the niece is relieved because Roberta's ghost basically sang her into the right innocence, and everything was good. And this is when we get into the rap, because this gets wild. Bink. The rap happens when Sam gets some of the main ghosts, Isaac, Flower, Hetty, and was there anybody else, or that was it?
Sass was there because he said the one line. Yeah, he said the line to Chris. You can talk about what happens before he says the line.
Oh, okay. So basically, they got the It's Raining Men package, and then all the Bachelorettes come out, and Sam starts playing. Oh, it's starting to get hot out here. The barometric humidity is rising. They were just like, "What are you talking about?
What are you doing, Sam?"
Yeah, exactly. And then Chris, the stripper, comes flying down, and of course, he doesn't open his parachute in time. And if you're wondering, and we will share this with you, Chris looks familiar. Is our friends over in the Sucked Off Worldwide group, the Ghost group on Facebook. Big shout out to you guys. I
Mhm.
really appreciate all of you. But Sucked Off Ghost Worldwide, we want to give you an amazing
Yes.
a shout out for this. Jason Z, one
Mhm.
of the moderators, and a couple of the other folks, the amazing folks in that group, just gave us a great did you know. The dinosaur loving stripper DJ Chris also played Aladdin in Once Upon a
Mhm.
Time, played by
Yes.
Dens Atkins. I'm terrible at names, so
Yeah,
unless I
it's a
hear
hard
it on
one.
Google, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Rose McClover also played Tinkerbell, so there's a little
Yeah.
connection between the two of those too.
Yeah. I wonder if I would have well, I watched Once Upon a Time regularly, and I wondered if he had the mustache, would I've recognized.
Oh, maybe that's why you put the mustache on.
Could be. I wonder if it's real
That's another good
because
question.
I learned that Pete's hair is not his hair; it's a wig.
Oh,
I
really?
thought they just combed it that way. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
because they
That's
did
funny.
behind the scenes. One of the actors was just filming in the makeup trailer, and they had some of the wigs there, and it was one of them was his.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, perfect. Absolutely
yeah,
perfect. And
and
yeah, so he ends up crashing. Chris, the DJ, ends up crashing. Yeah, so one of the things that I noticed is he looks like the other cousin in the Perfect Strangers, cousin Balky.
mhm,
I wonder
yes.
if maybe one of the Farnsworth, the male Farnsworth, if he ends up having like a health issue or ends up passing in the house, will he
Oof.
see Chris and go, "You look really familiar"? I think that would be a really funny line. But I mean, that's if you
Yeah,
see it like I see it. I can
yeah,
see the resemblance between Bronson
mhm.
Pinchot and this guy, but do you see
Yeah,
it? Yeah?
yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. And that would be cool if they had a scene together.
Yeah. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
But yeah, so we have a new member of a new ghost that joins the
yeah.
house. He crashes through and I thought it was a very funny scene. He crashes through the barn
Uh,
onto did he crash into the main table, the center table?
oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I was trying to think, did he because like
Hmm.
that's the
I have to go
ghost
back and
table
look at that.
and he
That
crashes
would make
in.
sense.
That would make sense if he crashes into the
Yeah,
ghost
the way
table.
they write, that would be spot on.
Yeah.
And then
So
Sass, when he said, "Man, I survived that. Can you believe that?" And
he's
Sass is the one that tells him, "Dude, you're dead,"
yeah,
or whatever he
you
said
didn't.
about that.
No, dude, you
Yeah,
didn't. Yeah, something like that.
yeah. And he's
Uh,
wearing those those pants.
yeah, the swish
That's
pants.
going to be his outfit for the
Oh,
rest of his dead
yes, that's
life.
right. He's gonna be wearing that the whole time.
I wonder if he has a parachute on his back.
Yeah.
But he didn't
Oh,
come out, so you
man.
wouldn't have to drag it behind him. So
Yeah, maybe his power, he can fly up above
mhm,
everybody. He can just actually get it to
yeah.
work.
And
And
what
they
I
have
loved about Chris becoming a ghost and staying there
Mhm.
is Isaac is going to get to
Yes.
experience something that he was sad that he never got to, because that's one of the reasons he didn't marry Nigel,
Right.
is because he didn't know someone like Chris existed
Right.
that was hot, that had similar interests, and didn't like Alexander Hamilton.
Right.
He was a lesser founding father.
Right. Right.
And so I like the fact that Isaac is going to get to experience that. The question though, is Nigel going to be involved in a triangle? Or is he out of the
That's what I
picture
was
for
gonna
now?
ask you. Yeah, what are these implications that are coming out of this,
Good story potential.
yeah, the story potential now that he's one of the ghosts in the ghost,
Yeah.
room. But
Yeah.
is he the ghost can pretty much travel anywhere on the property, so the restaurant's
Yes.
not off. Yeah, so he can go
No.
into the
Yeah.
house as well.
Yeah. Except Pete.
Yeah, except Pete, he can go
Yeah.
anywhere he wants. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be interesting
Yeah.
to find
You
out.
know, I was trying to think about this. This goes beyond just the episode. This is in total, the whole world there, about why these particular ghosts can't go get sucked off. What Because Pete is a good guy, and what has he done other than not having his deck permitted?
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah.
Then I started thinking about, if you really watch, and if you watch the shows over and over like you and I do,
Mm.
um, you notice the characters, while they may be nice, they have these little moments where they're kind of off.
Yeah,
You
Pete has
know,
dark moments.
yeah, or even just kind of crazy, a little bit, not sane moments. And they're little,
Mhm.
like when Pete was going to, when he was sharing the room with Sass, and he's over him when he wakes up. And if you watch how it's kind of a little nutty the way he acted, like, yeah, I'm going to be um I don't know, welcome buddy, or however he said that. It's hard to articulate that, but
Mhm.
um I think they all have a little bit, maybe when they become ghosts, they lose a little bit of the sanity.
Oh,
Um
interesting. And that's maybe
yeah.
why Patience is so bugged out because she's been in the dirt for so long and
Yeah.
it speeds and she's been there a long time
Yeah.
because she was before Isaac. So
Yes.
she's probably right after Sopsy.
The
So
Puritans, yeah.
yeah, the Puritans. She's probably right around or right after Sops. So
Yeah. But
oh man,
if
that's a
but
great
yeah,
revelation there.
if you go back and look at some of them, if you have the time, just kind of look for that, maybe, you know,
Yeah, and these
like
things are
some of.
they kind of go over your head because you're not really
Mhm,
expecting that. They're just, "Oh, that was a little
right,
quirky, but that's okay. It's a
yeah,
comedy show."
yeah,
Yeah.
and you expect them. They have to have some quirks in order to land the jokes.
Mhm.
But since this is a multi-level layered show, those things are in there, I think,
Yeah.
and if you just got to look for them. But
Right.
yeah, give it a look if you think about it.
No, I am, and I will because, I love the show, and it's one of the things that kind of levels me out when I have a lot of
Mhm.
stresses that are happening in my life,
Yes, yes.
So I'm like, "Oh, let me just watch an episode ago." I'll go back and
Mhm.
rewatch in the middle of the new season just to, like, because
Me
when they
too.
mentioned about when, the Halloween episode happened and his wife died choking on the donut holes, like I said last episode, and I was watching the series
Mhm.
from the beginning with my mom, and he was like, "Yeah, I remember what the fight was. She ate all those darn donut holes," and I was like, "Oh, he
Yeah,
gets a little,"
yeah,
and then I was like, "Wait a minute, donut holes, that's how she
mhm,
died," so I
yeah,
found that to be
yeah.
pretty
Pete
interesting.
has a lot of repressed anger.
Anger, yeah, for
Yes,
sure.
that could play into it. Also, he hasn't learned to let that all out because he was always um taking it. Remember
Yeah,
that episode where he was trying to
right.
teach Thor to take it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he's got all of that still bottled up in him, along with the sleep apnea,
yeah.
which I thought was okay.
Yeah, and it's weird, it's like, you're pretty
Mhm.
thin for sleep
Yeah,
apnea, but
yeah,
it's gonna happen to anybody. I've got my
yeah, I
machine
guess.
now, so it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah, but I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. So you think they're gonna like start off talking dinosaurs or back to Chris and Isaac? Are they gonna be talking dinosaurs and bloom into a romance, or is it gonna be like a
I,
weird
it could go so many different ways with this show, but I
yeah.
think there's going to be. I hope there's a little romantic thing for Isaac's, just for his sake,
Mhm.
to experience something that he wanted, that he couldn't um, say because you couldn't be out back in, the 1700s,
Right.
and it just would be nice to see him experience that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then get funny with maybe Nigel, kind of get a little jealous.
Yeah. If he's there at all, because
Yeah,
he's been gone for like this whole season. So
yeah, yeah.
be very
I
interesting.
think, yeah, I think some of that is money saving
Mhm.
because in the first season, the first 13 or the first half of the first season, the different ghosts were not in the episodes. Hetty, Thor, Sass, and Flower. They were hired on I forget the term that Joe Port, one of the creators, said, where they knew they were not going to be in all 22 episodes because
Mm.
of budget. And
Oh,
then when the ratings were so good, CBS threw more money at them, and
wow.
that way they could have ghosts in every episode for the last part of that season, and same thing in season two. But this season, Sass has been out like three times, and Thor has been out at least one time. The singing episode with Alberta and Sam, Thor was not in that one.
Oh, wow.
And then Flower wasn't in a lot
Yeah,
of
you're
them,
right.
or I mean, Sass was out, at least three. He was out, and I
Yeah.
think maybe they're just kind of back to saving a little money because they have so many guest stars this season so far.
Right. So that makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
One more thing before we go. This episode has a very special moment. It was something that you shared with Roberto's behind the scenes. This was the first episode of this series to be directed by an African American,
Yes. Yeah.
and the actress, her name is Alicia D. Kelly. She has done quite a bit of singing in her own time. She's a stage
Mhm.
performer as well, but she was in Luke Cage and a lot of other shows. It was a very positive light on shedding positive light on the
Yeah.
African American
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
So I
And her
really,
name's Alicia.
yeah, her name is Alicia. Yeah.
Yeah, same as the character there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I loved loved this episode. I'm so glad
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it worked out the way it did and everything worked so smoothly. And I'm super glad you shared that behind the scenes. And if you haven't seen those behind the scenes, you need
Yes.
to
Go
go
look
follow
for 'em.
Danielle and watch it. It is
Yeah.
incredible.
She shares a
I
lot.
Yeah, she does share a lot. I think I shared it on our Instagram. You can see down below on the little Instagram. We're on Threads, Instagram, and for whatever reason, we're still on X. But
Yeah.
yeah, but you can check those out, and they're linked to her because we want to give her all the kudos.
Yeah.
Just a fantastic
Also,
person.
Roman, he posts a lot of stuff on Instagram, behind the scenes stuff, and so does Asher.
Oh wow,
So
I
if
know
people want to
Richie.
follow those people,
Yeah, Townsend, I think his name is, who plays Pete.
yeah,
He does too. I follow him because he did a skit where he was doing a bunch of different voices. He does a really good
yeah.
Adam Sandler.
Oh, okay, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, it's a long time ago, but he like does all these different. He like has flashcards and he's walking in the woods or something, and he's like going through
Mhm.
all the different impressions that he can do. He's very
Yeah,
talented.
he's talented. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
he's very
very
talented.
talented. So
Yeah.
definitely got to check those things out. This has been Shedding Light on Ghosts, and we are part of the To Be Seen network under the moniker of Disc Dungeon. We are shedding light in the dark depths of the
Nice.
Disc Dungeon. So we are the new show under the umbrella of podcasting. So thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. And then if you're on YouTube, thank you for watching. Please again, like, share, and subscribe. It could really help us grow.
Mm.
We've been hitting great numbers. We've been growing steadily. So
Nice.
we appreciate everybody. So be sure to give us a like, and we'll see you next time. Be sure to turn that
Yeah.
light on so you can see the light
Yes.
in the darkness, and check out what ghosts are watching you.
Yeah.